Everybody, and welcome to Scouting the League. We are just 9 days away from the first round, where I am confident a number of these players I both like and am a little wary of will go on night one of the draft. Today, we talk that defensive side of the ball. We talk some players that I like and players that I am weary of, get some film along the way. Before we jump in with these guys, though, make sure you set your reminders, as tomorrow we get to hear from Dane Brugler of The Athletic. Excited to talk about maybe some day two, day three guys he's really interested in. Again, don't want to just focus on those day one guys, though I'd imagine there will be a little discussion there. Next week, we get Jordan Reed of ESPN, as well as all things draft cleanup as the week goes. Make sure you're hitting all those buttons, the like, subscribes, and shares wherever you're listening and watching. That subscribe one is one that really helps us out. Commenting is another way you can let us know, again, whether it's what you like, what you dislike, what you're wary of here on Scouting the League. Love to hear from you. Love to get those comments and make sure we are listening to you, the listener. Make sure you head over, check out my website at rsafootball.com. At RightStepADV is where you can find me on Twitter. Scouts and Aspiring Scouts, thescoutingcommunity.com is the spot for you. And if you need insoles, upgrade every pair of shoes you have. BlueMaca.com is the spot to do that. Use code Scouting20. Let them know we sent you. Get a little discount on that order as well. That is BlueMaca.com. So as we get into this 2026 draft, have to start with the guys I like. There are some guys, again, from a draft perspective, draft room perspective, you don't usually talk about like this guy's floor, this guy's ceiling. It does happen in some conversations. You don't want to make a safe pick, but there are some guys where it's just hard to find the downside. Again, looking back, you can always poke holes. You can always do those kinds of things. Again, 2021 draft, Atlanta Falcons, that was really the argument, the conversation with Kyle Pitts is, what's the downside with this player? Again, the character checked out, the medical checked out, the upside on the field checked out. At a minimum, he was going to be a good, reliable threat. Now, there have been obviously some stuff popped up. A not very good football team, question marks at the quarterback spot, have certainly limited him some. Again, all the reasons you can put on the tape of Kyle Pitts and find it and find out the reasons why you take a pick like that at number 4. Again, for me, let's throw the film on of my guy at Ohio State, Sonny Styles. Again, this is one of those guys where, again, what is the downside of drafting Sonny Styles? This is going to be a linebacker that is, one, scheme versatile. He fits 4-3, he fits 3-4. This is a runs down player and a pass downs player. He has played in the secondary. He has gotten bigger. He has developed. He has seen things from that back end. This guy can cover in man. This guy can cover in zone. He is long. He is rangy. He got run through ability, sideline to sideline. He's also big and strong enough at nearly 250 pounds, really long arms. Again, he can stack and play with extension in the box to get off blocks, just like we see there. Again, Sonny Styles is going to be a player that from day one upgrades your defense. This isn't a projection. This is, hey, the best, maybe the best player, maybe the widest gap between linebacker 1 and linebacker 2, any other position 1 and position 2. Again, probably in that same realm as what Jeremiah Love is at the running back spot. But again, you are talking about very good to elite, excellent level traits almost across the board. I'm not sure if this guy may have a good level trait in his profile. Again, as I look and think about this player, it is very good to excellence with arguably rare size at the linebacker spot in today's day and age, where, again, you know you're going to be a nickel defense and you need a guy that is going to be able to match tight ends, play against some running backs in space, blitz, be part of a front, play every down. This guy's going to be a 60 downs a week player from the get-go. This guy is pro-ready, explosive. What is the downside? Again, it is hard to find one. Hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully the mental's there. Hopefully the character's there. Again, it seems to be with this player. Sonny Styles, my player. Again, safe pick, like pick. Whoever drafts Sonny Styles, position value, completely take it out. You've got a starter for a long time, and arguably you may get the best linebacker in the NFL for the next coming years. The next guy I like in this 2026 NFL draft, we're going to stay on the D-line. We're going to go with my guy at Clemson, arguably a bit of an underachiever this year, kind of like this entire Clemson defense. But Peter Woods, again, defensive tackle, defensive end, number 11. Again, this is a guy that had high expectations coming into the year. And again, showed flashes, showed consistent power. He's got some rush. He's got some penetration. He's got the athleticism. This guy does a lot of things at a good to very good level. A little bit inconsistent at time, but I am going to bank on a player from Clemson at this spot who have just done consistently good things during their time going from college to pro. Again, Peter Woods is a impactful player. He's going to be able to play on 4 downs. He can play with some stoutness, with some lateral leverage. He can play with some strength at the point of attack. I think this guy does have some 1 and 2 gap versatility. Again, whether it's odd front, whether it's even front. Again, this guy is going to get after it. Again, this is one of those players with, again, and it becomes more common with defensive linemen where, again, in college, they're probably asked to play a few more snaps and they're going to be at the NFL level. Again, 30 to 35 snaps for this player, you're going to get the best version of him. You're going to get more upside. You're going to get the best of the game that Peter Woods has. Again, this is a player I like in the NFL draft. A little bit more short-armed, again, where you start talking about, hey, we couldn't poke a ton of holes in Sonny Styles games. Again, a little bit shorter arm than you like. Again, the consistency is certainly something you're going to question. Again, coming out of Clemson, again, part of an underachieving defense. All questions scouts and NFL teams are going to be answering. But again, there is just a lot of upside at a position where it is hard to find explosive, versatile guys that bring you both pass rush as well as run stoutness in today's day and age, where again, you can use some quickness, use some strength, you can use some power. Peter Woods at Clemson is one of these guys that I think has really good football in front of him, will probably slide a little bit, whether he's at a kind of end of first, beginning of second. A team is going to like this player, get him in the building, and we're going to hear a lot of him come this fall. The next guy I like, Derek Moore. We're going to stay on that defensive line, edge from Michigan, that school up north if you're an Ohio State guy. Again, Derek Moore, power Russian, power, gets on his train tracks at times, but this guy is going to run and rip through your face. Now, again, for some guys, I wouldn't love that. It would be a guy that I'd be wary of, but he has shown the ability to get off the spot. I think there's some flexibility there. Again, with this Michigan defense, you're talking about, playing sound schematic-based defense. Again, guys that are going to dual role, rush from the edge. Again, I think as Derek gets some more freedom, when he is turned loose a little bit, get on edges, this guy can be absolutely disruptive on the edge. This is a guy who has the power game, has good speed to go with that power, which is going to put a lot of guys in some conflicting spots on the edge. If you don't get vertical and are a little bit panicked there, speed to power is going to show up. You're going to see Derek Moore running tackles back to the pocket. If you're now really, really working to get back, I think we're going to see an inside move develop, that inside stick, some swipes to get by that guy to be able to run the hoop. I do think he is a little bit tight in his hips. But again, I think about a guy like Alex Highsmith at Pittsburgh who developed as a power rusher. Again, a linear, a little bit tighter in his hips pass rusher. But again, there we see an inside move from Derek Moore. He's got that ability. Alex Highsmith has developed that opposite TJ Watt as well. Derek Moore is one of these guys where, again, on day 2 of the draft, where I think he goes, again, kind of end of the second round, you draft your second best pass rusher that brings some of the traits he has. Man, you have a really good 1-2 combination. This guy could carry the load. This guy could be a 1 on some weeks, and on some teams, he may end up being the default number 1. I think you love this guy as your second best, your power edge, your kind of old school left defensive end, win your matchups against bigger right tackles who are really going to have to strain to get that vertical set, put you in a position to have some power and some anchored efficiency. Hey, maybe you stick him on the right side earlier in the game and just let him beat up that left tackle before you get that finesse guy over there. But again, Derek Moore, high upside pass rusher who has that dog, has that edge in him, getting after the quarterback. Again, good player in the run game, chases, pursues, play with his hands, has some extension. He does things well in the run game as well. But again, this guy is going to be a pass rusher that we're going to see on Sundays, and I expect him to be flirting with that, 8 to 10 sacks as a rookie just because of the way he plays. Guys that I really like in this draft. Again, there's reasons why I really like players. And again, on the wary side, for these guys, it may not matter so much on the traits. Maybe it lands on the priority of the traits. But for some of these guys, it may be other factors, which again, NFL scouts are going to have figured out. And NFL teams are going to have a plan for. And the first guy that I'm going to say I am wary of may be the best traits player in this draft, and that is Arvell Reese at Ohio State. When you talk about excellent levels of traits, this guy is arguably more trait talented than teammate Sonny Styles, who I said there weren't a lot of holes in his game. And if Arvell Reese was an off-ball linebacker that had high instincts and had moved down from safety and was doing some of these things, again, it's like, okay, yeah, Arvell Reese is going to go before Sonny Styles. He may go before him, but again, is he an edge? Is he an inside linebacker? Again, that's the first thing that teams have to answer is where are we going to put him as a rookie? One of the challenges NFL teams have, regardless of how good of program, how good of organization, how good a franchise you have, is, hey, when you have a guy that can do a ton of things, I can play stack, and you're going to be my edge rusher as well. You can't ask a guy to do too much too early. All of a sudden it waters down. The best Micah Parsons is the Micah that has been a rusher. Again, the Micah that people are still kind of questioning was that guy that was playing some stack, playing some edge, moving around. Again, versatile pieces are great, but again, at the end of the day, you better have somebody at a high-end backup because, again, NFL players, you can't play 60-some snaps at that level. And as soon as that player comes off the field, Micah, Arvell, whoever it is, you have a giant hole and the defense looks completely different. With Arvell Reese, I am wary because it is going to be hard to pin him into a spot and just let him learn and develop without ownership, fan base, media, and eventually the coaching staff if it's not a great team, which again, it's likely going to be Arvell Reese drafted in the top five not being on a great team. Again, teams that are struggling on that side of the ball are going to try to get their playmakers making plays, and that is where Arvell Reese, we may see the struggles popped up. Don't ask him to do too much. Make him a stack, make him an edge, let him develop in year 1, year 2. You're going to get the best version of them. I'm just concerned. Again, concerned with Arvell Reese that the team is going to ask too much too early. We'll say stunt his growth a little bit or create some issues in his game where bad habits are formed. All those kinds of concerns for a guy like Arvell Reese, who may be the most talented player, but is a guy that, man, I am weary of. If I was not sitting having those conversations, I'm going to be weary of this player. The next guy I am wary of, you're going to see that Ohio State team, but we're actually looking on the other side of the ball. We're looking at corner Jermod McCoy of Tennessee. Now, again, easy one on why I'm wary of him. Again, this dude has not played football in a really, really long time. Again, the no combine workouts. Again, yeah, pro day, private workouts, all that kind of stuff. It has been a really long time since this player has played real, meaningful contact football games, and it is hard to simulate. No matter how many workouts you've done, no matter how many 7-on-7 sessions or one-on-one routes you have taken, playing 11-on-11 full live football is different. It's still going to be, close to, 5 months before he plays full contact football again. That is a long time, several years between live snaps. Again, that is a huge, huge concern for me. Again, we're looking at 2024 tape. That is the number from a pro standpoint, from a college standpoint. You're talking, hey, a long time between tape. When you talk to scouts, what is the biggest thing we got to have? We got to get some fresh film on you there, getting beat by Jeremiah Smith, who beats everybody. We won't even worry about that. Jermod McCoy still in pretty good coverage there. But again, you got to have fresh tape. Teams are going to be wary because eyes on them. It has not been game tape. outside of that, as I was looking at Jermod McCoy's 2024 film, there was some stuff to like. I thought this was kind of a third round start win type corner, though. This is not, to me, a lockdown. I'm not going to be real comfortable with him every down against the best wide receivers as we start changing directions, a start stop again. I think he can run vertical. I think he's got good speed. I think he's got good level traits. I think this guy has more good than he has very good. And you factor that in with, hey, it's been a long time. You were good before. Hopefully the injury's right. Hopefully the mental is still in a good spot. There are just so many questions that get answered on the football field that you have to try to answer outside the football field for Jermod McCoy. Again, you're talking about what's been mocked as a top 15, top 20 player. I think he slides a little bit more. I think, to me, if this guy slides into the 20s or even beginning of the second round, I'm not that surprised. Again, is he the best corner in this draft? I don't know. Mansour Delane, I think, probably has a pretty good argument. There's some good players, Avion Terrell, other guys that are good players that put good film on the field this year. Again, teams are going to have a lot of questions answered through the process on Jermod McCoy that he didn't show up and answer when he had some opportunities, which just leads to more questions. So Jermod McCoy is a guy that I think is good, could be an NFL starter, but I am wary of drafting him and asking him to do too much here during this 2026 season. The last guy we get to talk about today, sticking back to the trenches and going back to the Buckeyes, it's Caden McDonald, nose tackle at The Ohio State University. Caden, it's not about what he can do. Again, you have to talk about the pass rush in today's NFL. Again, NFL scouts want to talk about what we can do. Yeah, Caden is a very good run stopper. He is heavy at the point of attack, heavy hands, very good lateral leverage, very good strength. I think he shows good awareness, good vision and instincts. This guy is limited in the pass rush game, though. He is a power rusher, struggles to get off the spot. There's good snap there against Miami, but it is really limited for me, and I think he's going to struggle at the NFL level. Again, if you're drafting Cade McDonald, the plan is going to be this guy's going to be a nose tackle for us. He's going to be playing base downs. If you get him in on sub downs, again, he is going to be a push a pocket guy in the middle of that defense, but is not going to give you a lot of pass rush impact. Again, that's not just because of the traits. Now you're talking the size. Again, not an overly big or long-framed player. I don't think this guy's going to have a ton of batted balls regardless of what kind of position he's in. Again, he's getting the big mitts up there. He's going to be part of a good rush. He's going to rush with good right eye, left eye responsibilities. But Caden McDonald is going to be limited on the pass rush. And as we see the NFL continue to transition more and more pass game, again, absolutely make the argument, hey, offenses are getting smaller, centers, guards getting smaller. Let's get a big bruiser, big run stopper. Again, this guy can't be moved in the run game. Again, better be a plan for him. And you better have a role carved out in your defense. If you're going to take him in the 20s, in the first round, if you're going to do these things, you better have a plan. And when he does not rush the passer, when the upside is there, when he hits his ceiling there just because of the traits and the trait limitations he has, Cade McDonald, I think, is going to be a guy that has to answer some questions and is one of those guys teams will get a little frustrated with. Again, does he become that guy that gets overdrafted because of the helmet, because of the school, because of the pedigree, because, again, maybe we thought he could do a little bit more in his role? I don't know. That's why I'm weary of him. Like, I think there is a real pass game limitation for Caden McDonald. Not that I wouldn't love him as a run game player, but again, there are good run game players throughout this draft. Not drafting a run only player in the first down, which I think Caden McDonald is going to be for a good bit of his career. But again, you tell me, who am I right about? Who am I wrong about? Who do you love? Who are you weary of? Or whether it's one of these guys that I talked about today, whether it's somebody else, or man, the consensus is this: I'm lower, I'm higher, I really like this guy. Man, I want this guy on my team so bad. Let me know. At Right Step ADV is where you can do that. That's where you're going to hit me with everything. DMs are open. Don't want to go public with it. Hit me there. Let me know. We talk all things scouting, all things draft as we get closer to the draft, including Dane Brugler, Jordan Reed, everything coming up. Don't just keep watching film, though. Got to do your work on the back end. That means you're going to keep scouting.